She got it together.
We good? Mm-hmm. You good this morning? Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
And welcome to our training session here at the Crossroads. Delighted to have my daughter again with me.
I'm back. That part.
So we're glad to be able to be back. Thank you so much for allowing us to be into your homes on this morning. And we do come with, I'm going to say a good word. Anything that comes from above, and that's coming from the Father of lights, in whom there is no shadow of turning. Anything that comes from Him, I don't care how it may sound to you or what you get from it, trust me, there is a good in it.
Yes. Because
that's just who God is. Mm-hmm. And all things, as the Word tells us, work together, for our good. But there is a prerequisite to that we're going to have to love God in order for that to happen. So we are just glad that not only that you're here, but we are grateful that God has allowed us to be here on this morning. And we're going to get into our training session on this morning. I had the opportunity to listen to one of my spiritual daughters. She's out there. She has her platform on social media. And what she does is she leads us to places and she informs us of things that's going on in the world. But what I love about her is she gets things and she allows us to know what's happening behind the scenes. Let me say it like that, because what you see and what you hear from the different ones that are saying things, it's just like Paul Harvey say, there is more to it. Mm-hmm. So she comes and she gives us the rest of the story. Mm-hmm. And that causes us to be informed and for us to be able to not only know what's going on, but it also causes us to be able to have, make our own decision about whether or not we're going to believe it, and if so, what we're going to believe, and then what we're going to do about what it is we've heard. And I had the privilege of listening to one that she just recently did. She did it in 2 parts, and it was dealing with Kanye West. And they had different, other different people to come on, and they were speaking, questions were being asked, and this was dealing with the media, about having our own and getting our own, and the different challenges that we face. And I'm just going to say this up front, because one of the persons, they said, and this is a part of another barrier that has to be broken. I truly do believe, we don't have to say people that look like us. I mean, I know that we're referring to color whenever we say that, but no. But in actuality, it doesn't matter how they look. The thing is that we're all human. Mm-hmm. And you cannot dehumanize me because I don't look like you or because my color is not like yours. But we give way to them for them to treat us like that. But if we have to change the way we think. Mm-hmm. And our mindset has to literally be is that, I don't care who you are. I don't care what color you are. There's no such thing as a race. Everybody cut, and everybody believes what? Do you believe brown? Do you believe light brown, dark brown? Do you believe black? No, we all believe red. So it's time out for us having our culture and then trying to fit something else into it by coming up with another terminology to describe who we are. We are great.
Yes.
And greatness is definitely in us. Mm-hmm. And this morning, it kind of, the things that they were saying, it kind of like, I could hear them speaking in the natural, but I was also listening because everything that they were saying, there's also a spiritual connotation to it. And then I heard that the pastor, they were evidently at somewhere where they were going to be eating also, but this pastor came up and he did the grace. And one thing he said in that grace, that is the word of God, that if we will just grab a hold to this and truly not turn it loose, we're not only going to be better, we're going to do better. We're going to have more because of what it is we say. It's not that we have things to overcome. It's simply that I am an overcomer. Every last one of us have obstacles in our lives that we face on a daily basis. We did our training on last Tuesday, and an average person makes anywhere from 7,000 to 10,000 decisions a day. And you don't even stop to think like that, because you don't realize that, it takes a decision for you to wake up. You have to make a decision to get up. You have to make a decision to get up and go to the bathroom. You have to make a decision how you're going to wash off. You have to make a decision about, if you're going to go to work. All these things add up. And it's over 7,000 to 10,000 decisions that we make in a day. But, sometimes, we're not even conscious of that. And a lot of things that we do it because we've all, we're a habit. It's just a habit that we're in. But what happens when what you face in a day is not a part of your habit? Then, something else comes up. But I started it off like this. And hats off to you, Princess Tabadell, Tamara King. Hats off to you. Thank you so much for what you share on your platform, and for what you give that informs us. And information, which is only knowledge, is what we definitely need. But we're going to get into that in a few minutes. But I wanted to start like this, just by saying, I want to talk about what our go-to is when we don't want to do what it is we've heard or what it is we've been asked. What is our go-to? When you don't want to do something, what do we normally go to? The go-to is that you can't make me do nothing. That's our go-to. Why? Because you have already seen the outcome of what it is they've asked you to do. And you don't like what it is you see. So therefore, what you do is, instead of saying, I'm not going to do it, you can't make me do anything. So right there, you've made a decision. And you've made a decision not to. Just look at the board behind me. This is really the meat of what it is we're going to be discussing today. The verses are out there on the board, but this is all about kingdom greatness. It's about what's in every last one of us, and so it's a collect call today from prison. That's what we're going to be talking about. And you see, I know immediately when I said it's a collect call from prison, you naturally you saw, prison bars. You saw somebody in prison, but that's not the prison that I'm talking about. I'm talking about we're imprisoned in our mind. And a call is coming to your mind today. Will you accept? And can you pay the charges? Will you accept the call? And do you have enough to pay? I don't know how long you're going to talk. I don't know how long you're going to have that conversation. But do you have enough to pay the charges? The scriptures that we're going to be dealing with is going to be coming from 1 Corinthians, the 6th chapter and the 12th verse, Matthew, the 4th chapter, the 17th verse, and 2 Corinthians 4 and 18. You'll see that 2 Corinthians 4 and 18, this is the theme that God gave me for this year, kingdom greatness, and that's the scripture that is coming from 2 Corinthians 4 and 18. But I want to start by saying, everybody too is always talking about culture. And culture seems to be a big word today. Not only is culture a big word, my big word that goes with culture is kingdom culture. Because I already know that, as melanated people, we are a culture that lives within a culture. And we live, within cultures, more than one. We live within cultures. But the thing about us is that what we literally have to do, we have to be able to come out of and come into. So in order for us to be cultured and to literally know who it is we are and to know what it is we have, it's going to cause us to have an identity crisis. We're going to have to meet, first of all, who we are now in order to be able to know who you are. Who you are. You want to say anything at this time, or you want me to run?
I just wanted to
touch on what you were talking about initially whenever you first started, as far as I'll just say what I got. I believe that, just like you say, we are different communities in one big culture. And the different communities have their own ways of doing things. And it depends on what is going on in that community that kind of determines, I want to say, placement. And I think a lot of times as our community, because we don't have the same things going on in our community as far as the finances, as far as the circulation of money, as far as having our own, then we're kind of then placed on a lower scale than other communities that have these things going on. And I believe if we start to do it, then it'll look like segregation or separation. But whenever they do it, it's just them maintaining and keeping their community affluent. It keeps their community surviving. But I believe us as a community, if we were just to come together and unite, not in the spirit of segregation to make us or put us in a class where we feel like we're better, but just to have an establishment, a foundation where we already know we can sit at the table, but have them understand that we can sit at the table. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
And that, I believe that's what's missing in our community that is so prevalent in other communities. That's why they can not only sit, but they can make their tables and decide who sits at their table. But
Exactly.
if we now came together and we had our own systems, banking systems, our own hospital systems, our own just the same live that she's speaking of, I also watched too, and I got a lot of it out of it as well. And Kanye had mentioned something about the Black Wall Street. Like we as a community haven't had our own since Black Wall Street, but we have what it takes in order to. We have the resources and we have the people is what I'm trying to say. We have what it takes in order to get us back to that place. But it's always a situation in our community, though, where I can't have more than you or you can't have more than me. Whenever we have to all understand that if we just have this common knowledge that, you know, this gives us now the strength and the power that you can look at me a certain way, but you can't do anything with it because I already have what it takes in order to be where I am. I already have what it takes to say what I am and to stand on that. And if we could just unite, like we have enough people that have the access to whatever it takes in order to regulate these things and to make these things happen. If we could just collect all the famous people, I don't want to name drop, but all the famous people in the world that lives not working class, but they have a little bit of money, you know. If we all could just unite and come together and just make that thing happen, then I believe as a culture, as a community, that we would be different. We would aspire to the greatness that God has called us all to be.
She said something. It's not that we will be different. Because you know what other cultures understand? They know that we are.
Right.
And other cultures knows the greatness that's within our culture more so than we do. So I wrote a question. I said, what happens, you know, when what you know in your gut, you have something in you that you just cannot shake. You cannot let it go. What happens when what you have in your gut is being suppressed by what you're hearing? It'll always remain suppressed. It'll always stay hidden in you. Because everything that you're hearing, you hear and it's all negative. It's all negative. And what you're doing, you listening, then you know what, a collect call is coming through, but you don't even hear the phone ringing, because what's literally trying to happen is God is literally trying to free our minds. And if you can free your mind, then you know you're free to flow and you're free to go. you are free. And it's literally to a place where others can see and know what it is we possess. But what we hear keeps us suppressed. And glory be to God to those that have gotten beyond this, that we should be looking to say, you know, yeah, not only is it plausible, not only is it possible, man, it's attainable. Not that I can, I will.
Right.
See, because we stay in the can too long and we never go from our will and to go forward and to go forth into what it is we can definitely do. Danny said, she talked about us uniting, and everything that she said was so true. As an entrepreneur myself, and all of our other entrepreneurs, all the other great entrepreneurs, and especially since the pandemic started, we had a lot of people that I'm talking about those that were sincere, because see, what happened was when a crisis came, that's whenever you were at your best to think. See, it takes crisis, it takes certain things to happen to get us out of our daily norm and our daily dependency. And then it causes us to just, hey, we have to make another move. So to all the entrepreneurs that got started since the pandemic, you know, my hat's off to you. I'm one of them also. But I want to say this about us and us having businesses. My passion is cooking. Okay, so I cook. There's another soul food restaurant that opened up maybe about, I don't know how long ago, but I'm going to say maybe a month ago. You know, some people would think that it was competition, or it would be competition. But you know, I'm so grateful today, because that's not how I look at it. I believe that if we can get enough of them up and running, then everything will be generated, you know, into our, and it can stay amongst ours, and we can continue. See, as she said, you know, I'm not looking at what you're doing, even if you're doing what I'm doing, as you know, who's going to do the best. Oh, that's a mind that's locked up in prison. That's an imprisoned mind. But when you, and that says that you have no vision. Whenever you think on that level and you think on that term, you have no vision. And as we were talking about decisions, I'm grateful for the decisions that all of the entrepreneurs made. You know, keep on doing what you're doing. I mean, it's literally not, some of it to some extent, if it hadn't paid off yet, continue, because it will pay off. The key to doing whatever it is we're doing is that we're giving what's needed. See, that's the key. You have to give what's needed. Let me tell you what Paul said in 1 Corinthians, the 6th chapter, in the 12th verse. He said, I have the right to do anything. Listen at him talk, and listen and say this to yourself. And this is literally written in the Word of God. He said, I have the right to do anything. He said, but not everything is beneficial. And then he says again, he said, I have the right to do anything. And we're going to talk about that word beneficial briefly. He says again, he said, but I have the right to do anything. This is the key to getting out of prison. He said, but I will not be mastered by anything. And for so long, what was in our gut could never come out and manifest, because we allowed what we heard to master us, to keep us suppressed, and to keep that gift that's in you that the world truly is waiting on. It allowed it to just keep that laying in you dormant. But today, a collect call is coming. And see, you just can't accept the charges, because these charges has to be paid for. If you accept the charges, that say, yeah, okay, I'm going to hear the other person. And that's one thing that we're guilty of also. You know, why is it that I can sit here and I can tell you, and what I'm telling you and what I'm giving you is what it's going to take to get you out of where you are, to get you going to where you need to be. But because I'm saying it, you know, you probably don't receive it. But if somebody else out of another culture come and they tell you, you think that they got, you know, you're looking at it that they have something else to give you whenever they're saying the exact same thing. But you can receive that more so than you can receive this. But we have to start having conversations, and our conversations have to start being, you know, informative conversations. Stop gathering just to shoot the breeze, because that's the wind and it continuously to blow. And you know what happens with the wind? You know it's blowing, but you don't see it. See, we need to have conversations that's informative, that whenever we say something, we'll be able to see something. We'll be able to see what it is we say. And then we'll be able to say it until we see it. So that's where Matthew 4:17. You want to say something?
Yes, and before you continue on, I just want to say too, whenever you were talking about we're going to have to accept the charges, I believe a lot of times we don't, because we don't think we can afford to.
Mm-hmm.
But these are affordable. This collect call, that it's affordable. In fact, it's not only affordable, it's kind of like a need. It's a necessity. If I don't accept this, then I'm going to stay locked up. I'm going to stay in bondage. But this call comes to give me life, to give me freedom. Exactly. And the only thing that I have to give up for it, or to pay for it, is just my will to remain in this place, as opposed to coming out of that place to be great. So it's affordable. I'm not losing anything except for reservations. I'm not losing anything except for a mind that keeps me in a place where I feel like I can't do anything, or I can't succeed, or I can't do what I am called to do, or I can't be in purpose. That's all I'm giving up. So it's affordable. This call and the charges, they're affordable to receive whenever this call comes. And also I wanted to say, if we stay in prison, if enough of us stay in prison, then it locks up the whole community.
Yes.
The reason why we're locked up,
We're on lockdown.
exactly, is because so many of us are in prison. There's more in prison than are free. And
Yes.
the free don't really matter in the scheme of things, because there's not enough free people. There's more in prison, so therefore the community still stays locked up. There's a lane for everybody, period. Even if it's in the same, if it's going to the same place, there's a lane. There's multiple lanes to get to the same place. Just like she was talking about, there's a lane for her for the soul food industry, as well as this other woman, you know, that's opened up hers. There's a lane for everybody, but the locked up mentality says that
Yes.
this is competition. So now all of us think this way, so our community still stays locked up. But if we have a free mind and say, well, what I don't do today, she'll do that day, and it stays within our community, not to promote segregation, not to promote being greater than somebody, but just promoting greatness in general, then we understand it now gives us a leg up. It gives us a foundation, as I was speaking on, to say that, yeah, you all have that in your community, but we also have generational wealth. We have these things now
Exactly.
that we can attribute to us and our future.
And you know, it's one thing to go to prison, but it's another thing to be imprisoned.
Absolutely.
There is a difference. You know, because you have people whose mind is locked up, that whatever was brought to them that caused that was that. But it's just time. It's just that it's time that we break the cycle. And how do we break the cycle? Just by believing.
Mm-hmm.
Believing different now than what you were told then. That's why I say it's time that we start having, you know, informative conversations, knowledge. And we dealt with that on, it's the quality of the information that you receive that's going to determine whether or not you make a good decision. Mm-hmm. You can make a right decision, if you want to make a right decision, you're going to have right information. If you want to make a good decision, you're going to have that good information. If you want to get a better decision, you're going to have have that better. It's all about the quality of the information that you're receiving.
And nowadays we have no excuse, because we have so many reasons. But everything's accessible to us. It just depends on what you give ear to. If I want to give ear to foolishness, then that's what I'll do. But there's so many people out there. There's so many books that we have access to. There's so many articles and things that we can read. There's so many TED Talks and so many speakers that are on platforms that are giving us access to this knowledge, that we can have quality information,
Exactly.
that we can make quality decisions with. Like, we literally have no excuse as to the reason why we are not successful or we're not walking in the greatness that we're ordained to walk in.
That's right. And since we're talking about decisions, then we need to know that our decisions can only be as good as the information that we have. Our decisions can only be as good as the information that we have. And the more knowledge we get, just like she said, there's a plethora of things. Everything is accessible. Everything, if it's not at your fingertips, it's in your eyes, it's in your face, it's in your ears. You know, but you just have to have, you know, what you need to. You need to possess, you know, what it is you need to know in order to know if what it is that's coming into you, if it's worth the while.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it's discernment,
right. And if you're getting some things that that's going to just linger in you, see, you'll serve time in that thing, mm-hmm. but it won't be. I mean, but the time served will not be profitable. Mm-hmm. It will not benefit you anything.
No rehabilitation.
None at all. But remember, I used the two words. She said, "What?"
Rehab. That's what they say the prisons are. They're rehabilitation centers. Yes. They're not prisons.
Yes. So with everything being with us being able to do anything. But the things that we do, we want it to be beneficial. Mm-hmm. Just as Paul said, what you do, it needs to benefit. It needs to have a benefit to it. It's I mean, we live our life in parts. However, part of the time, you know, we want to do something that's fun and enjoyable. That's mm-hmm. not a problem, because these parts, it makes the whole us. It makes the sum total of who we are, mm-hmm. in other words. So, but then there's a part that he said that whatever we do, you know, we need to do it, and it needs to benefit not only us, but what we do has the ability to benefit others mm-hmm. also. And the other thing that I wanted to say was Matthew 4:17. That's where I was going before Danielle stopped me. Listen, before she interjected, you know what I'm saying. Listen, when this is when Jesus had said, but I've always used this to let everybody understand that whenever he talked about, you know, it's time to repent. It's time for you to start telling all the wrong things that you've done. It's just time that you change your mind. Jesus came literally to free us from thinking the way that we've been taught to think. Let me say it like that. But my eyes was open. I went further, and it said this at the beginning, before we get to 4:17. I think we get to like 4:14 or 15, but it said, when Jesus heard that John was put in prison. See, an action, then it produced an action from Jesus, because then that's when he went and he started his ministry. Mm-hmm. See, whenever you hear what it is you hear, there needs to immediately be an action. But where we fail is that when we hear what we hear, we give it time to simmer. Mm-hmm. And other thoughts and other things come in. And 10 times out of 10, we don't move whenever we should, because we're trying to evaluate what it is we heard. And then 10 times out of 10, our evaluation causes us to stay stagnant. It causes us not to have forward movement. Neither does it causes us to be able to see where it is we need to move to. So, but this one said, when Jesus heard that John had been put in prison, he moved. He literally moved. So Matthew 4:17 lets us know that he said this. He said, it's just time, and it's been time. Today is a great day. Really it is. Today's a day when a lot of people gather, either virtually or either in person now. This is Sunday. So this is when all the people come together in the buildings, and the leaders, and I'm speaking to the leaders on this morning, because this is an opportunity that the leaders have. And if the leaders if they don't possess what's needed to give everyone that's in their viewing or in their site or on virtual, however you're meeting this morning, it's time out. It's time that you start telling, the people who they are. Stop leaving them in a place where they're always in that place depending and waiting on. You're keeping them in prison and imprisoned. And leaders, if you don't have the knowledge, and I'm not saying this is not negative, but it's time that we as even leaders come together so that we can have informative conversations, so that we will be able to go out and speak the same thing in the different places, and that way everybody will be fed the same thing. It's time. It's past time. I mean, read what you want to read. We get it. We got this from what Kanye knows and what they were speaking. We got this to be able to say it the way we're saying it on the spiritual side of it this morning. But naturally so, things are still happening. People are still in a place, and who are you waiting on and who are you waiting for? You're looking for the government to tell you this and the government to tell you that? No. You govern your own mind.
That's what you were created to do.
That's what you were created to do. Govern your own mind. Stop waiting on handouts and know that you have and you possess what you need on the inside. There's a gift that has been placed on the inside of us before we even got here. But because of the suppression, oppression, and all this stuff, I don't even talk about Black History Month and all this good stuff anymore, because it's just a reoccurrence of what somebody else has already done versus what it is we are doing. Learn from it, move from it. Learn from it, move. Not move away from it, but take the lesson, incorporate it into what it is you need to be able to see. See a place and see others. See yourself in that place doing something profitable, beneficial for others. That's your gift. We're not here to dominate people. God has given us resources that we can use, and we're to dominate what's in the earth. You wanted to say?
I did. Just while you were speaking, it be like Jesus. We've heard enough. Now it's time for us to do. After he heard, the next thing that was mentioned in the 12th verse is that he went. He left. Like she was saying, we have to put an action to what we've heard and not just let it be in us. I was talking to somebody a long time ago, and it was a mother, and she was talking about her child. She was like, she just uses her head for a hat rack. We can't use our head just for a hat rack or a wig rack or whatever it is that we put on top of our heads, but we have to actually use our mind to promote movement, because our minds are great. What we possess in our minds are great, and for whatever reason, we can't let whatever it is stop us from moving. Just as the live was going on and I was hearing Kanye speak, he said whenever we talk like this, it is deemed crazy. And that's that suppression now. That's that oppression. Because you think, or what you've been told now is considered crazy, or is considered something that's impossible, or you can't get it done, or you can't accomplish it because it's just little old you. But you're not little old you. You're big old you. You're great you, according to Genesis 1:26.
Exactly.
All of us are great. And say the unexpected, do the unexpected, move unexpectedly.
Exactly. And
it will possess what it's garnered to do, because we harness that power in order to get that done, whatever it is.
Whatever it is. And this is what the audience that gathers on today in the different places, this is what the people need to hear. This is what they need to be informed of. I mean, you leave Daniel alone. He's been in that lion den and he's done come out. But now your mind is in a den. You're in prison. Your mind. This is what we're going to do. We're going to break that barrier. What we hide behind. We need to come out from that, and we need to come into what's already in us. And I promise you, just like she said, it's greatness. And I'm going to say it the whole year, because that's what God told me at the beginning of the year. He told me kingdom greatness. So that means that there's no suppression, oppression, depression. You know, there's no ION. There's there's not a continuous and a staying in of. And in order to break this barrier and to break this cycle, it takes you just to believe. That's all it does. It takes you to believe. And just as 4:17 was saying when Christ said, just change the way you think. If you change the way you think, then your actions will change.
Exactly.
If you change the way you think, if you don't look at it like they have told us to look at it, if you don't hear what they said, that's the way it is, but you make a quality decision. This is what we need to give the people. We need to give them, quality information so that they can make intelligent decisions. Mm-hmm. This is my backdrop. This is what God gave me. I mean, before I even could come to this place today to say what I'm saying today, He told me back in 2015, and He showed it to me. He said, many decisions, one choice. Mm-hmm. And then today, here it is, I'm talking about how we make from 7,000 to 10,000 decisions a day. But some of the decisions that we make in a day, we don't have the information that we need, and then that's why things go awry. That's why things go awry. Mm-hmm. That's why we fail at some things, mm-hmm. because we don't have we have false moves, false starts, and I guess you would probably say, well, a false move or a false start is better than no start at all. And in some places that is correct. It is true, mm-hmm. because at least you can learn from what it is that was wrong, and then you can there's another way that you will be able to do it. In this inner culture. We're a culture within a culture, and it's time to come out, and it's time to self-identify. And what I understood from a part of what I was hearing also in that interview, that the message that was going out was that we have some people in place already, and I don't blame them. I'm not gonna take what I created, and what comes in. And I'm not just going to willy-nilly just give it to you. Right. You have to show me something. Yeah. You have to show me, because, see, my money, and everybody, nobody wants to talk about money, but that's what the Bible says, that money answereth all things. Money. And then Jesus asked, he said you can't serve two masters. But whenever they have taken the time out, they've gone within themselves and they produce the gift, and it's been manifested, and the worth of their gift, they have that intact and in hand. No, I don't blame them. You just can't come and just because they say, I want to do this, they want to put it out where it's going to be beneficial. Yes. They're not going to allow you to master what it is they have, mm-hmm. because they understood how it was they got it. They'll be a fool just to give it because, hey man, I'm trying to start this business. No, start it. Give, just like God always said, give me something to work with. Give them something to work with. And that's more than just what you say. This is my last thing. Prayerfully, seriously, today that you all are really listening. You're really listening, because it's a call, and the call is coming to release us. To release your mind so that you won't think the same way. And while you're thinking in your thoughts, because of what they have already put out to us and you have taken in, we don't even, in kingdom, we don't even live like we don't live by what they say. We live from what we know. And knowledge truly is powerful. It truly is powerful on today. I'm gonna give you the last verse that I have up there, which is 2 Corinthians 4:18. Always talking about kingdom greatness, but that tells us, I'm gonna quote it. It tells us, it says, so we fix our eyes, because, and then it says, not on what is seen. See, it had to say it like that because that's the place where you are. Mm-hmm. It says, so we fix our eyes not on what is seen. It's telling us to stop looking at what you see and think that is all there is to it. Because as long as you continue to see what you see, and you can't look within you and see your greatness, to come to allow it to come out and to manifest other than what it is you see, because it tells us what you see is only temporary. What you see is temporary. It say, but we are to fix our eyes on what is not seen. Because what is not seen, listen at me real good, that's what's eternal. No, that don't mean that has nothing to do with heaven at all. That simply means that what is not seen is what God has placed in you. We can't see it until you manifest it.
God's plan.
So I can see all day what I see. And I can understand that what I see today, it'll change tomorrow.
Exactly.
But what you have not seen that comes from God, that is and will remain, and that is my purpose, it is your purpose, that's yet to be seen. If you have not yet started walking in your purpose, if you have not yet started doing what it is, that's in your gut that you just can't shake. And some people literally have that, and they have literally decided that they don't want to see it. They don't want to do it. Be it because they feel they're too old now, but you're not too old to breathe. They feel for whatever reasons, and I said it before, we make many decisions on why we won't do what's in us to do. And all you're saying to God is that, what, I know I'm here and I know I have a purpose, but not now. Wait till my kids graduate. Wait till I get the divorce. Wait till I get back on my feet. Wait till I get a bank account. Wait. So you made a decision to wait. And your decision to wait is not beneficial. As a matter of fact, you're being mastered by the decision you made.
All right.
Yeah, you can do anything, but everything that you do is not beneficial. It's time that we start telling the people who they are, what's in them, who they were created to be, what God created us to do. And there is a wealth of greatness, and there are so many things that has already been done by our ancestors, or those that have come, the great leaders and liberators, those that have come and no longer here. But what's in you? You're here. I'm here. We're here. So let's get out. Let's get out. You know what it literally takes to make you think different? Is for you to get tired of the way you think. If you can ever get tired of the way you think, and if you can ever get quality information to cause you to think another way or to do something else different, if you can get that, then you can not only get it, but you'll get in purpose, you'll perform, you have the potential and the ability, and this is what we need to keep each other with daily. We eat that word, and I leave it, and then I'll let Danny close, but I'll leave it with that word that still yet rings from what it is. They were talking, spiritual was definitely mixed in with the with the natural of what was going on. But the key to it is that we have to unite. How is it that we're a culture and we're all one, but we're so divided? We're so divided. So we're divided by language. We're divided by action. We need to start having informative conversations. Don't gather together and shoot the breeze sometimes. But most of the time, come with some knowledge. Come spitting something that's going to produce something. Come give me something that's going to add to. Give me something that's going to cause me to think. Give me something that's going to cause me to see something. Give me something that's going to add to. You don't even know whenever you talk to me, it's something that you say, you don't know what it was I was thinking. You don't know. But one thing you should know is that whenever we come together, wherever we come together at, and we should start coming together, and when we come together, we should start coming together with some valuable, beneficial information. And then we'll find out that the decisions we make will be quality decisions. And it'll produce things in our lives, and it'll even be productive. You know, everybody talks about the legacy that you want to leave and all this, you know, for your children and stuff. Stop talking about it. Be about it. Stop talking. And if it comes out, you know, say what it is you've done thus far and what you're still doing. And I promise this is the last thing I say. For all of those that have accomplished anything yet, if you've already reached the goal, that's still not the end. If you reach one, then that lets you know that there's more greatness in you. There's other goals to be reached. And the worst thing you can do is to think that you have succeeded by your current success. Now, you're not successful by your current success. You will continue to be successful. What makes you successful is your gift. What makes us successful and brings success is the gift that we have on the inside that's just dying and screaming to be born. So with that, I leave that. And
I just had one other thing that I wanted to say. Whenever I believe that we're down or that we allow things to, because we get so much, everything we get is information. Everything that, whether it's in a conversation between you and your spouse, you and your mother, you and your children, you and your friends, whether it's something that you read somewhere, you watch a video, it's all this is data, all this is information that is being given to us. And sometimes the information that we decide to receive simply because we are who we are is not good. It's not uplifting. It's not encouraging. In fact, it's discouraging. But I admonish us all just to allow 2 Corinthians 4:17 to keep us afloat, to keep us in a mindset where even though these things come to suppress us or bring us down, allow this to lift you up and bear you up. And just know whenever you're told you can't, or whenever you're told you're nothing, or you're told that you won't amount to anything, or whatever, just allow 2 Corinthians 4:17 to minister back to you and allow you to know that you may say that. You may even believe that. That may be your truth about me. But the truth and the fact of the matter is I am great. And whatever is in me is just because of whatever reason has not manifested, well, because of me. But whatever the case is, it has not manifested yet. But I'm not going to allow you to kill what's inside of me by your words. I'm not going to allow you to destroy what God has created with your thoughts, with your perception.
That's right.
And it's not reality. It may be your truth, but it's not the truth regarding my life. So allow that just to encourage you. Allow that to minister to you. Even whenever you feel like through the failures or the false starts, as was mentioned before, or just the things where you don't think that it's going in the way or in the direction that you would have it to be, encourage yourself with this as well, and understand that just because you can't see it now, what's in you is eternal, and it is manifesting, even through the failures, even through the upsets, even through the downs, even through the ups. It does not matter. It's still going to manifest because God said so.
Train your brain. You train your own brain. You govern and control your own mind. Train your brain.
And let the voice that you speak be the final voice.
Amen.
Your voice, not if it is not contributing to, or if it's not collaborating with, or it's not connecting with what you understand about yourself, dismiss that. Let the final say so, the final voice that you hear, the voice that continues to make you move, be your voice. Now, I stand on that. You can say whatever you want to say, but the wisdom has a sound. Yes. Direction has a sound. Forward movement has a sound. And you don't sound like wisdom to me right now. You don't sound like forward movement. You don't sound like you going in the direction that I'm going to. So I'm going to listen to my voice, because that's going to guide me to where I need to go.
And with that being said, we thank you so much for allowing us to be with you on this morning in your homes. Leaders and anyone that sees this, and you have a pastor or you have a bishop or apostle or whoever, evangelist, it does not matter to me. You know, I'm just waiting for us to all come together so that we can have, you know, conversations that's needed so that they can take back into the different congregations or the different audiences so that we can all be, there is a foundation. And we all need to have the same foundation.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are not even dealing with kingdom because they don't even know anything about the kingdom. And I'm not going to get into that real heavy right now, but I literally want the leaders, those that are in position, you know, hit me up. And DM me, whatever the lingo is, you know, to get in touch with me, do that so that we can do this thing. I mean, it's just time. It's time that the barrier is broken in our culture, and it's time for the greatness that we possess, you know, that other cultures know and see. Other cultures know and see. And it's just time that our eyes be open and to know and to see the same thing. We need to be able to see sometimes what other people see and see just how great we really are. So blessings to you on today. Thank you again so much for having us in your home. I don't know if I'll go live on Tuesday night. If I do, those that are subscribed, you'll get a notification. Those that are looking in on today from my Tabernacle Kingdom Outreach channel, I thank you so much because I'm getting more people. Thank you so much for liking what I do. And for here on YouTube, hopefully, prayerfully, you all will continue to leave your comments, drop your comments. We'll address it. It does not matter. And what's to say that what you have to say won't add? That we need to know. We want to know. So with that being said, tune in with us again on next Sunday at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time here at the Crossroads. God bless you, and prayerfully this week will be a magnificent week for you all.